cannot wait to see the likes of Brazil in action, but one step at a time. We've still got USA against Uzbekistan to finish off, and then Mexico against Saudi Arabia. So again, I can't keep getting carried away as always.
No consolation there for Uzbekistan. The Americans are waiting to count down the final seconds here. There goes the full-time whistle. 2 wins from 2 from the American side here. The United States make it through directly to the quarterfinals of the Kings World Cup Nations. They are a great sporting nation, and they're proving they can mix it as well in the Kings League. It was one-sided, essentially from start to finish. They made it count early on with the overload in the early minutes, and eventually 6-2, a very healthy winning margin.
Once again, it is USA A-OK. Jabbarov taking a bit of consolation, a consolation prize for him, taking home the MVP prize. He will try again in the last chance saloon, as Uzbekistan did win their first game against Saudi Arabia. As for USA, very much like Argentina, winning both of their matches and going straight through to the quarterfinals and earning an extra day of rest. Final score confirmation: USA 6, Uzbekistan 2. And the stats confirming them, the dominance from the Americans, who are really, really impressive. They've laid down a marker once again, showing that their victory against Mexico on the first day was not a flash in the pan. They march on, and they go straight through to the quarterfinals like Argentina. As for Uzbekistan, they join Japan and Spain in that last chance saloon. A reminder, Italy going out earlier. Italy the first team to crash out of the competition. The home nation are going home, although unfortunately for them it's a very short trip home. We'll look back now at the highlights.
Mexico knows better than anyone how big a Kings World Cup is. They hosted it before but couldn't win. Now their thirst for revenge has become a ritual of the favorite without a crow. From beyond toward victory. Saudi Arabia, where 3 dimensions meet. Horizontally, endless deserts. Vertically, cities that reach for the sky, and in that, the dream of a historic victory that will crown them worldwide.
Here we go then, the fourth and final match of the day. Mexico against Saudi Arabia is just moments away. There we have it then. We've heard the national anthems of the final two nations ready to step out there, Mexico and Saudi Arabia. It's been a wonderful day of Kings League action. We've already had 3 teams that have prevailed. Who's going to come out on top, Thomas Lawrence, between the Saudis and the Mexicans?
Well, in some respects, I'm quite actually scared to have my say because I'm often proved wrong. In fact, I've been wrong on almost every single occasion. But I'm going to say Mexico. I'm going to disagree with those following on Twitch right now who say Saudi Arabia, Mexico. It's very popular, the Kings League. They've got the Kings League Americas. And you know, people in Mexico walk around with the jerseys, the Kings League jerseys, just as maybe in Italy you see people wearing Juventus jerseys, Milan, Inter, etc., just to give you an idea, although Mexico is storming back now.
Lifestyle choice of clothing there. I love to see that personally. Shows that the Kings League really has become deep-rooted now as part of the footballing culture, day in, day out. And a reminder here, as we look at the Mexico lineup, we have the same scenario that we witnessed earlier on, featuring the host nation, Italy, up against the country where Kings League was first created, Spain. They were 2 teams that had lost their first matches, and therefore they knew that if they lost, they went home. Italy stay home, but they're not going any further in the competition. And it's the same situation now. Were either Mexico or Saudi Arabia to lose, then they will be going home.
They're the draw of the secret card, sponsored by Spotify. We saw USA really cleverly using their secret card last time out right at the very end. Of course, they won't be coming into play until the second period as we count down then to the start of the match. I cannot wait. Patrick, do you want to have your say who's going to get this one? Or do you want to keep your cards close to your chest?
I'm going with Mexico. I'm going with the powerhouses of the Kings League, where the game is popular. They've got a lot of pressure back home, but I think with their support, they're going to get the job done. We start with 1v1 as the lights go red, and then it's lights out. The ball drops from 5 meters, and then after that, remember, every 60 seconds, a new player will emerge. Both players taking the ball there, and it's the Saudis that come away with the ball. I know we've spoken about the kits, Solo.
Yeah.
If I were to get my hands on any, it would be that Mexico shirt. What a beauty.
An iconic jersey. I was chatting about this with Super Sai. Yes, a huge shout out to Super Sai, who'll be back next week commentating on the Kings League. We spoke about these wonderful, these prestigious international jerseys. I love this. The men in green. Here he goes. Obed Martinez.
The skipper has space to shoot. Instead, he cut back inside. That's wonderful. What a goal. What a goal that is from the skipper. That is absolutely brilliant. Looked like it was an easier finisher there. But then he just toyed. And Obed Martinez. Wonderful.
And he's done it again inside the opening minute. He did it against the USA. On that occasion, it wasn't to be the day for Mexico. And check out the presidents as well as they watch on.
That's such a good finish because he could have easily hit it, as we now see another player join him on the pitch, but instead he just rolled it one more time, rolled his Moldies over it and pinged it into the top corner. And already the Saudis trail, but they look to equalise here, with the goalkeeper letting fly and never really looked completely comfortable there, Abdul Rahman Al-Dahan.
No, it was always going away from goal. Of course, we've been piling the praise on Mexico, some incredible players down through the years, but Saudi Arabia as well, really proud emerging football nation, a really popular league right now. Also Saudi Arabia, they're playing in Serie A with Roma. Of course, it's focused on the Kings League now.
Here's Obed Martinez again, looking to score again. He very nearly did. It's a fine start. The Mexico keeper will try his luck, and it's pulled wide by Monterde.
Oh, I love Obed Martinez. Yo amo Obed Martinez. I think that's what he might say in Spain. He's brilliant. I love the way he plays. Low centre of gravity as well. The little shimmy, those little runs, and what a strike as well. Just like USA in the first minute. We haven't seen many of those goals inside the opening first minute in this match day 3, round 3.
You're right, and yet you would think, in terms of odds, that might be the time to score. 1v1, you only need to surge past someone. You've got a 1v1 situation against the goalkeeper. But you mentioned low centre of gravity. It reminds me a little bit of Giovanni Dos Santos.
Yeah.
Co-international, played for Tottenham Hotspur, the LA Galaxy as well. And again, Saudi's taking too long there in possession. They've ceded the ball back to Mexico, who are enjoying themselves so far. And they can see, in fact, he was just marginally offside. That toe peeking beyond the line.
It just shows that the fine margins You have to be so attentive at every level. As Mexico try and get a second. Mexico fighting to stay also in the competition. Remember, they lost their first game just like Saudi Arabia, so the loser of this match going home and joining Italy on the, well, it's not on the plane home because they're here, very short trip home.
Take the tram home, the Italians.
Yeah.
A reminder, if you can't join us here at Vismara on the south side of Milan, make sure you join us up the road on Sunday, the 12th of January. Oh, did the goalkeeper get a fingertip to it? A wag of the finger there from the officials. Apparently there was no save, but that could have easily been a goalkeeping howler there because it was well struck by Selly.
Oh, we've seen a couple of really good efforts from Saudi Arabia. They really are now, they're fighting tooth and nail to get a way back into this match. They know this is a huge moment for them, really much make or break, as Obed Martinez goes a long way around, Patrick.
He squares it, that's good goalkeeping, positive work there from the keeper, Dahan. Saudi Arabia will need to start again here. They look very relaxed, don't they, the Mexican presidents, just chilling out there.
Yeah. In their tracksuits.
But you can see across the way from us, we've got some Saudi supporters
making
in
all
the
that
traditional garb. They are clapping and dancing, they're filming as well. Great to see, really nice to see.
We saw the Moroccan fans yesterday, Patrick, packing out the Vismara. Also, the fans that couldn't get inside the Vismara were outside supporting the team.
Good defending there from Mexico, but they've given it away. Saudi's looking to score the deflection. Takes it behind for a corner. Looking a bit more potent now. Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. She's currently hosting some Italian football. The EA Sports FC Super Cup going on in Saudi Arabia, but our attention is very much focused on matters here in the King's World Cup nations.
Omar to take.
It's caught in two minds there. Now Mexico, with the introduction of a new player, they couldn't quite exploit it there. That was nearly the perfect storm. When you have a player coming in when a minute elapses, and it was almost a perfect through ball there from Chuy Perez.
Here Omar, who's really unlucky against Uzbekistan, Patrick. He had a little slip, and it allowed Jabrov to go in and then score that golden goal. He had a really good game. In fact, he was named man of the match. Unfortunately, that was small and scant consolation for him, with his error proving costly as Mexico now spring forward again. They really are so pacey, the Mexicans.
That's great skill. Can he finish? He can! That is an individual goal of the highest quality. He's only just come on, Chuy Perez. But that was brilliant. The shimmy and the shuffle, and then the finish to match. And Mexico, they get 2-0.
Well, we're just talking about their speed, their pace, and they've shown that there, just round the outside, getting away from his marker. Nicely done as well. That first touch as well is key to put him into that shooting position. And it's the Mexicans celebrating, the Mexicans having all the joy so far.
They really are, and Saudi Arabia will have hopefully learned the lesson from other matches we've seen earlier on, particularly Spain against Italy when the Italians fell behind. And indeed, what we just witnessed in the match between Uzbekistan and the United States, the Americans pressed ahead. Once you open up a big cushion, even with all of those rules as they nearly halved the deficit there, it doesn't matter if the lead gets too big. You can have as many double goals as you want, presidential penalties and secret cards. It's very hard because for every presidential penalty, there's one for the opposition. For every secret card, they get the same. Exactly. It's a level playing field.
That's why I'm really admiring this approach, the strategy from Mexico, just to go for it. I like it. And very much like USA, try and build up a big lead. I like that. Play the football as well as being too strategic, too conservative. And that's why I think they're real crowd pleasers, the Mexicans, Patrick.
It's a lovely switch in play as well. They're really playing with freedom now and confidence. And Obed Martinez is now just sitting deep, pulling the strings. He tried to dink it over the top towards Brian Hernandez. That appeared to be a high boot, but the Saudis still have the ball. And they want to get a goal here. Instead, they've lost possession. Mexico will now pursue a third, but at their own pace. That's what they do. Very comfortable on the ball. You can see these grown up with the ball at their feet.
Yeah, and again, I know it's still very early on, but the winner from this match, which at this stage it would be Mexico will face one of Germany or Brazil. The loser of Germany-Brazil, that's a mouth-watering meeting. Cannot wait. We'll be commentating on that tomorrow. Patrick, let's focus back here to Mexico.
Clever ball through for Brian Hernandez. His teammate takes over now. This is Chu Perez, just scored that second goal. Obed Martinez. That would have been lovely if he managed to execute the through ball on the half volley. That looked like a foul.
Playing on, though.
Oh, it's good. It's what they call arbitraggio all'inglese, refereeing the English way, letting the game flow. And I'm pleased to see that even though our officials have a Spanish lilt, a Spanish twang to their accent, they've been very English in their officiating. That doesn't mean that anything goes and you can side down your opponents, but what it does mean is if they feel an opponent or a player is trying to gain an advantage, going down too easily and trying to kid the referees, they won't buy for it.
Of course, no place for violent conduct, and the referees will climb down and come down hard on that, but they want the game to fly. I know Simon yesterday really was appreciated that as well. He's not a fan of the cheap fouls given all the time.
Well, you and I, for our day job, commentate on Serie A football, the highest league in Italy, top flight over here, and we're so accustomed now, we've been conditioned in expecting free kicks to be given for some quite soft fouls, and it's good to see when the referees aren't whistle happy. Speaking of happiness, they will be blissfully content here, the Mexican Legion, because this has been very one-sided. They've been in complete control, and I don't really recall any taxing saves from Montero. They're just that one he kicked away with his feet, but Saudis have been quiet. And what we do know from Kings League is you need to be more positive than this. Obed Martinez, dispossessed. The Saudis in transition. This could be an opportunity, but rather than play it wide, he went for goal himself. And I know you are a fan of Omar and Thomas, maybe took the wrong decision.
Listen, maybe because during my brief playing days, not to a very high level, I had two very much left feet, more of a just trying to disrupt the play and running hard. So I admire the players with quality like Omar, Obed Martinez, which are really admiring to those talented players, those technically gifted players, the sort of the fantasista, trequartistas that want to really just get you off your seats and just leave you breathless, and they're doing that right now.
They are indeed, but it's the Mexican flair merchant, Obed Martinez, wearing 20, who has impressed. He's already scored. Chu Perez got one as well. That's why he's so good, because he's just a deep line playmaker. He'll sit deep, dictate the tempo, won't keep that in. But get him into a shooting position. He's already shown what he can do as well, the Mexican skipper. The problem for Saudi Arabia is we've played nearly 11 minutes, and that means it's been almost 6 minutes since we've been playing 7v7, and since it's been even numbers, Mexico have just really flexed their muscle.
Yep, they're able to just close down the space, keep it tight. They have afforded a few chances, just a couple of little scares, but they're very much in control. They're edging in terms of the possession as well, as the Saudi Arabians must try and make some noise as well and give their team a boost in every help they can get right now.
That's technically a shot on target, but it's easy. Fajes shot straight at Montero. Mexico have Saudi Arabia where they would want them here. And that means that Mexico would be moving into the last chance saloon. Saudi Arabia would be going the way of Italy, namely eliminated from the competition. That was a fortunate touch. He'll get the return now. It's become a give and go. Risky challenge. Well, the defender's body language there to me was indicative of a foul. Mexico didn't make too much of it, and the officials again let it go. Omar trying to make something happen with his skill, the number 10, he takes the throw in quickly. And again, no foul. And here come Mexico pouring forward in search of a third. Saudi fans feel they've been a bit shortchanged by the referees thus far. But when do they go for the presidential penalty? At 2-0 down, probably not. If they were to fall 3 behind, is that when you'd be urging them to say, get the press out there, get that penalty?
Yeah, obviously, for Mexico to have their presence here inside the venue, Saudi Arabia don't. But he is streaming, of course, and he's watching on with his thousands and thousands of followers. So it'll be a shootout for Saudi Arabia, should they call their president penalty.
Omar's ball through, the goalkeeper's come wandering here. It's a wise decision. Omar again. Nice to see that certain things are sacred. the number 10, the most technical player in 11 aside, also the most gifted player in terms of pure ability in Kings League 2.
Of course, there's of course a lot of crossover. But there's these different features and knowledge just keep you guessing right until the end. As we saw in Italy and Spain earlier, Patrick, it has to be the game of the tournament so far. Here is Fares. Omar this time sitting deep.
Second Fares that we've seen as well this evening, because we saw one for Italy, lest we forget as well.
Yeah, had a good game actually, really good second half.
Yassine Fares, that was.
Really good game.
Dare I say it, Thomas, the Saudis are flagging. It looks like they've already played 3 matches tonight. They haven't. They didn't play at all yesterday. They were involved in day 1, but they were beaten then. They're being beaten here. That was an important challenge to stop the shots at source. Clever ball poked through. Here's Obed Martinez again.
Can they get it to Diego Martinez, professional Mexican player? Here he is. Looks like he hasn't won the foul. He's got 7 goals at the last Kings World Cup for clubs.
Let's check out that reaction as
well.
Does he need to go down like that?
Well, it's a good point. Some would say it's clever play. It's football, as the Italians say. It's a way of trying to convince, some would say con, the referee. Others would say, as you would say, perhaps it's a bit over the top and it's too dramatic. So the 2 girls thought about it, watching on. For the Mexico side, they were disappointed against the USA so far. Really happy. Smiles all round.
Saudi Arabia need to make something happen now, and they clearly haven't learned the lesson from watching other teams. My hunch is that this game is not in terms of the scoreline, but it's in terms of the domination and the balance of play. It's been very reminiscent of Spain against Italy, when Spain were very much the dominant force, and also reminds me a lot of the match we've just witnessed when the USA had far too much for Uzbekistan, winning by 6 goals to 2. It's only 2-0 here, but I have a feeling that Saudi Arabia are only going to score, mainly once they get that presidential penalty.
Yeah, or a secret card.
But the secret card is going to have to wait. They need something to happen now. This is Omar looking to make something happen, and there's an own goal. It has happened. They want a flag, Mexico. What's the decision now? Put into his own net by the player wearing number 2, Cesar Bernal, after a clever step from Fahar. Saudis think they've halved the deficit, and after all that, at least saying something needed to change. It has changed. Omar with the ball through. That's very unfortunate indeed. In fact, it was a player wearing 15, Rabier, who forced the own goal. Neither player knew much about it, neither the one scoring nor the one inadvertently prompting it.
Yeah, and Antonio Morterde, one of the best goalkeeper of split 2 in the Kings League Americas, is beaten. And there won't be a clean sheet for Mexico. One from the footsteps of Turkey yesterday. Saudi Arabia, as you said, Patrick, do get the little foothold back in this match.
And now, all of a sudden, they're moving the ball with freedom. It's amazing what a confidence game this is. Suddenly, the momentum is with them. They're shifting it crisply. Their crowd are making noise again. The Mexicans have gone quiet. The Mexican themselves looking very mute in terms of their reaction.
Yeah, concern now shows that this game can just ebb and flow. Oh, quickly things can change.
Now they're playing the triangles. Omar inviting his goalkeeper forward to try and create a numbers-up situation. Mexico still have the lead, lest we forget, but Saudi Arabia have drawn courage from that own goal. They'll try and find a cross here. They have found one, and they might equalise. Is that a penalty? They've got the shot away. There's a follow-through from the player who's just scored an own goal as well.
Of course, there will be a check, Patrick, but my initial reaction was no.
Well, the general rule of thumb, Thomas, is if they're unimpeded in terms of shooting, then anything pretty much goes. As long as it's an honest attempt to play the ball, you can't just gratuitously smash into someone after he's taken the shot. But you can see why the Saudis, via number 15, Rabier, are asking the referees whether that does deserve a second look via a VAR check.
Try and listening if we can. The clock in the meantime has been stopped.
In progress.
Juan, ¿se cumple? Vale. Reanudamos aquí, ¿vale? Cuando pite, reanudamos aquí. ¿Qué? No ho sento, tío. Si no el pito. Pero abans d'aquesta acció.
In progress.
La del gol.
Hear the Saudi fans chanting VAR, VAR, VAR. They didn't get their wish. We restart with a goal kick. That would have been a big momentum shifter even further, because might have not only been a penalty, but perhaps even a yellow card there for 2 minutes in, which would have taken a Mexico player out for what becomes a pivotal stage of the first half as well, Thomas, the final 2 minutes, which we're on the cusp of now.
We're getting close. It was a great opportunity for Saudi Arabia. Just that on-rushing Mexican player, just doing enough as now the countdown is on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, there you have it.
Who's going to be throwing the Red Bull dice?
Yeah, it is going to be Adri Contreras, one of the Spanish presents for the Red Bull dice. This energy break, energized by Red Bull, and there he is, Adri Contreras. Let's see what happens. Oh yes, Patrick, this is what Sai and I love. 1v1, but with no goalkeeper.
Ah, there couldn't be a better scenario for our final match of day 3. 1v1, no keepers, free for all. 120 seconds of pure chaos on the way here at Vismara, here on the south side of Milan. And it's Obed Martinez who's been chosen for the Mexican side. A real task now for his opposite number, 7.
This is massive now. As the lights are lit.
Ready.
Away we go. Who's going to be first to the ball? Selly tries to get there. Obed Martinez has been penalised. Just when he thought he'd scored, the whistle had already gone. A relief as much as anything for Saudi Arabia.
For Saudi Arabia.
So that means that the Saudi player got to the ball first, and he was then fouled by Obed Martinez.
Now he goes tactical clearly. They put him on for that kick-off because of his pace and ability to get there. And now let's see if he can substitute the man who's replaced him, the number 19, as he sets himself.
Talal. So do they have to shoot from no further than the
Exactly, you cannot go beyond that centre. And of course, they cannot stay with their hands, which makes it even the more interesting. They can either have a little run up, just set it themselves. Let's see what Obed Martinez does. This is interesting. I like that bit of momentum.
Obed Martinez struck it so purely.
Oh, yes.
So this is just basically a shoot-off now. And he's going to have to do that again. Talal Salim. Time is of the essence now. Still 60 seconds for Saudi Arabia. Plus added time. Shouldn't forget that either. Did have a couple of video reviews.
Here we go.
Talal steadies himself, strikes it, but misses. Now he needs to be back quickly enough before Obed Martinez. I wonder whether that could be a strategy. But you get a really speedy player who dashes it so quickly up the pitch as to catch out your opponent who's still recovering from his own shot himself. Here he goes, the number 10. Again, he's going for the top corner, which you can understand.
Well, Martinez tries to go. If he does sky it, it gives himself time to head back.
Talal. This has been a bit of a damp swim, which is why he's made the change. But what a chance for Obed Martinez! Bizarre decision from the Saudis there to make the change. It didn't work out. By the time Omar had come on, the other number 10, Obed Martinez, had pounced and slotted it into an empty net. It is one of the worst decisions we've seen all day, and it has cost the Saudis. Mexico now 3-1 up. Look at this.
Oh, it was careless. It's the inexperience as well. Can they hit back right away through Omar, though, Patrick?
Omar is denied. Finally, we had a shot on target. That's the first thing you need to do, work the opposition player. But a big lead now for Mexico because they're 2 up. Thanks to Obed Martinez, who scored 2 of their 3 now. And what was impressive about that is big strides to sprint and then small, contained steps once he got close to the ball to bring down that heart rate as much as possible and make sure he at least hit the target, didn't miss. That's on target, and they score again. And all of a sudden, Mexico are really turning on the hurt for Saudi Arabia. But he's out of goal now. And Omar decides not to shoot immediately. But well put away there by Brian Hernandez. He wouldn't have got to that. And the half-time whistle goes with Mexico all of a sudden going from 2-1 up to 4-1 up in double quick time.
Oh, and in the end, that shootout really did come into life. It burst into life towards the very end. It needed a careless mistake from Saudi Arabia. It was reckless. It was a lack of inexperience. But let's try and listen in at half-time, where it's Mexico 4, Saudi Arabia 1. What the coaches have to say.
Porque a veces nos están poniendo a 2 puntas. Cuando se meten 2 cerrados los laterales, lo que menos nos importa es la pelota en el medio del campo. Entonces, atentos, posesiones largas, güey, juguemos con la necesidad. Ellos tienen que venir, No les regalemos nada, no abramos la puerta, güey. Lo estamos haciendo muy bien, exacto. Esa es la palabra, oficio. Démosle valor a lo que hemos hecho. ¿Estamos? Dale, cabrones, que estamos muy bien,
أحمد وأبو سبعان، فهد، عموري، عبد الله، فارس.
Well then, Mexico scoring 2 all-important goals in the final 2 minutes of that first half when we had that wonderful scenario, 1v1 with no goalkeepers. And not only did they score, Mexico, when there was a goalkeeper in the net, but they also scored when there was a Saudi keeper who'd gone walkabout. Obed Martinez making the most of that curious decision from the Saudis to make a sub, and Mexico clearly spotted the chance to pounce on the loose ball. We're just 15 seconds away from the start of the second half. It looks like the Saudis are going home, unless, Thomas Lawrence, there is a dramatic turnaround in what remains tonight in our second losers game, shall we say, and our 4th and final match of day 3.
Yeah, you mentioned drama, and drama is very much synonymous with the Kings League, so this isn't over, even though looking at the scoreline, seeing the way the match has been playing out so far, and the way the Mexicans are performing, that 3-goal cushion they have, you really fancy them now. You wouldn't expect them to throw this way and fumble this lead. Secret cards, though, President Perot could also shake things up, so let's watch the space.
I'm trying to remember if we've actually had a presidential penalty in the first half of any of the 4 matches today. I can't recall one necessarily.
May have had one towards the end of the first half of one of the matches, but we'll see shortly on our highlights when we round up all the action from today. Another great day of Kings World Cup Nations football, and tomorrow just keeps on coming, which is fabulous. I can't wait for Brazil, Germany in particular. One of several games will be in a quick sneak preview later, but let's focus back to Mexico, Saudi Arabia. Mexico, of course, to go through to that last chance saloon. Mexico 4-1 up, and Saudi Arabia, for their part, look like they're going to be joining Italy, one of the surprise teams to go out so early. Seeing as their first match was against Japan, they're expected to beat them against Spain. No shame in losing to Spain. In fact, it was a thrilling game of the tournament so far.
But they left themselves nowhere to go. That's the problem. When you do lose that first match, all the pressure is then piled on that second game, and Italy certainly felt the responsibility a lot more than Spain, who were carefree in their approach, and certainly in the way that they delivered in front of goal. As for the Saudis, well, we thought that own goal was going to be a catalyst for a bit of a lift for them. It has turned out that way. They trailed 2-0, conceding those first 2 goals. Then they got the own goal. In fact, all 5 goals have been scored by Mexican players, those in green. So the Saudis need to make something happen. It might be a game which simply hinges on a big moment, be it a secret card, be it a presidential penalty, save at one end, miss at the other, or, dare I say it, and we would never wish this upon anyone, a red card, which would mean 5 minutes without a player, and that player sent off would play no further part. But here's Obed Martinez looking to twist the knife, and he does. It's just so good for the Mexico number 10. It's the reaction of the players on the far side that told you it went in just for a moment. Thomas, I thought he hit the side netting, but it is another goal for the Mexicans, and they're now 5-1 to the good here at this match.
Oh, he is a wonderful player, Owen Martinez. I know it's still very early, but he has to already be a candidate for team of this tournament. He is a maravilloso, I don't know if that's how you say it in Espanol, but he's wonderful.
Maravilloso.
Maravilloso. Muchas gracias. He is fabulous. As President Penalty has been called by Mexico, which I think is very smart. Stretch their lead even further.
Omar trying to keep it in. Is that a corner? Goal kick has been awarded. The Saudis aren't happy with the decision. Ball's out of play, Thomas. You know what that means?
Yep, which means Gabriel Montiel for Mexico will now step down onto the pitch and take this president penalty. He's just to our right. Now he's a really, how to describe it? A character. Let's put him that way. He's a character. At times he likes to stream his penalty live. He's got his phone with him. Sometimes he likes to turn his back a little bit and just have a surprise run up. He likes to wind up the keepers as well. He's a real character. Yesterday he missed her, if I'm not mistaken.
And I believe Montiel, that's the name of the Argentina player who scored the winning penalty in the 2022 Qatar World Cup for Argentina against France. And this is a Mexican Montiel, streaming live, as you said. He's got his smartphone out there to immortalise this moment, provided he can score. Saudi Arabia have beefed up the goalkeeper position, trying to intimidate the Mexican president. No, surely not. Is he going with the back heel? Well,
surprise!
This is verging on disrespect.
Don't look away. Do not look away.
Montiel taking his time, taking aim and scoring. Made it look so easy, and he will now celebrate live for the world via that stream. Mexico also cheer on the president. The penalty makes it half a dozen goals. They're 5 clear and they lead by 6-1 all told, and they feel that the job is done.
Now if you swagger down to the pitch like that, as he did, you have to then step up to the plate and deliver the goods. He did exactly that as he enjoys and laps up the praise here, laps up all the plaudits. He has taken Mexico a step closer to that last chance salute. High fives all round. Cincos altos. I don't know if you can say that's absolute garbage, I know. But high fives all round.
Job, mate.
Yeah, I won't.
Now, if you're the Saudis, what do? They might yet concede again here. That's lovely footwork. Doesn't have the finish, though. The other side of it. The problem is, there's no point in making the game respectable at this stage now, the Saudis. They have to try everything they can, because if they lose, they're going home. So if they lose 6-1 or lose 10-1, it makes no real odds. Just a slight tinge of pride, perhaps, if they were to concede even more. But they have to take chances now. It's risk-reward, trying to strike the right balance between those two. But Mexico's game plan has been flawless, and the only slight negative for them has been that own goal, but then again, that was so fortuitous in its creation. And now Mexico getting numbers behind the ball, it does become very hard, and you wonder why the Saudis are wasting any time in not taking their presidential penalty. We've seen the Mexicans convert theirs.
Yeah, and also for Saudi Arabia, it's slightly harder because it's a shootout because they haven't got their president here, so they designate someone to take a shootout instead from the team out on the pitch. So, and that's even harder, you know, the shootout, because obviously you have to run towards the goal. It's not a standing stopper, it's like a penalty, so that makes it even harder as Mexico try and get another. They might do that, Patrick, now.
They might indeed. Presumably, that particular rule stipulation is to avoid, is to tie up the loophole whereby the president might say, you know what, I'm never going to turn up, I'm going to delegate to a player. Well, you can't have the player out there take it from 12 yards. The whole point of the presidential penalty is to try and stack the odds a bit more in favour of the goalkeepers. So therefore, if you are to defer to a player, then we're going to make it harder for that player, and then they have 5 seconds to dash forward from the halfway line.
Yeah, it looks like Fares. Or is it Getty to help me out? I'm really struggling with my contacts today, Patrick.
It is indeed Fares wearing 47.
Well, actually, Fares now disinterested. He's not going to take it anymore. He stepped back. Initially, he was looking like he wanted to take it. He's now trudging back, so it's not Fares anymore.
It's the captain.
Yeah.
He's the man with the armband. Mexico, Mexico is the cry going round the arena here at Bismarck. They do lead comfortably by 6-1, but they want to make absolutely sure. It's going to have to be quick here. He's round the goalkeeper. Very neatly done indeed by Al-Mutairi. How cool was that?
Great play. I expect him on them to make it harder for him. Top keeper is, and very, very intelligent play from Saudi Arabia. Now that they've got that goal back, play that secret card. Something maybe perhaps his goal's worth double. We'll find out shortly. Maybe a star player, that'd be a nice one to see. They played it right away, try and build on this little bit of momentum that they've got thanks to their number 16, their skipper.
Al-Mutairi there showing a piece of skill which has really drifted out of the men's game in 11-a-side, because very rarely would you see players go around the goalkeeper. I know you've mentioned in the past couple of days Ronaldo Phenomenal, the former Brazilian striker of Real Madrid, Barcelona, Inter fame. He was very adept at that. A crazy proportion of his goals were going around the goalkeeper. We started to see it drift back a little bit domestically this season. Rafael Leão did it at Cagliari, Marcus Thuram did it at Verona for the two Milan clubs. Here, though, is the card play, the secret card, shootout time.
Again, another one in quick succession. Will it be the same player? That'd be a curious thing. Or will it be someone else?
I'd like to see the same player. It is Al-Mutairi, and he dropped the right shoulder and then went left. Is he now going to drop the left shoulder and go right, or is he going to hit it early and catch the goalkeeper out while he's running and before he's set? Al-Mutairi against Monterde, take two. Al-Mutairi's overrun it, and that allowed the goalkeeper to pounce.
Yeah. His first touch wasn't great, to be honest. It wasn't great. He lost a bit of momentum, and that's great for the keeper, and that's why one of the top keepers, we were singing his praises earlier, and after failing in the first shootout, this time he comes up, makes the save.
He's a big boy as well. He used all of his towering frame there to drop down at the feet of Al-Mutairi, the Saudi captain. And it does mean it's basically as you were. We've seen both presidential penalties converted. To deem the Saudi one as such is slightly misleading. It was a deferred penalty shootout. One of the players had to take it in the absence of the president. But they're 4 goals behind Thomas with 14 minutes to play. But before that, those 14 minutes are up. We have another milestone, the 38-minute mark, when we'll see how many players will indeed be on the pitch come the end. And I know you're going to be keeping us up to speed as to who is going to toss that dice.
Absolutely, Patrick. To keep everybody up to speed with all the various rules and regulations and technicalities. For those who've been following Kings League for a while, it's quite simple, isn't it? By a second nature, you just watch it, it's appears the norm, but if you haven't, it can be a little bit mind-blowing the first time as this delivery comes in. And now Fares comes to nothing, unfortunately. Saudi Arabia
Can't make it happen in the final third. Goalkeepers come walkabout there. That was risky. Albert Martinez was trying to take the throw in quickly to catch the Saudi keeper out. Just like we saw, not with the Saudi keeper, but with the Saudi outfield player in the final 2 minutes of that first half. That's what allowed Mexico really to build their lead. It wasn't just the shot as part of that 1v1 situation. With no goalkeepers left, we forget where the goalkeeper, in this case, has swung and missed it. So the goalkeeper, for want of a better word, as an outfield player, played between the sticks. And the other one was when they decided to substitute a player, left the entire centre circle unattended, and that allowed someone to pounce.
Cleverly, they're just ushering it out on that far side. Mexico with this real strong advantage as well, with that secret card also to play. They'll be feeling really confident. We're going to this final 10 minutes before that 38-minute mark. There's got to be a foul, surely. We're playing on, but again, we've seen haven't really been given in this tournament.
Oh, lovely touch! But he just squandered the opportunity to shoot immediately. That's a foul coming in as well. Just for a moment, there was that potential to shoot, and rather than make the most of half a yard here, in the end, that's the eventual challenge that led to the free kick. But the Saudis are running out of steam. In reality, they've never really asked too many questions of Mexico. The 2 goals, lest we forget, have come from an own goal and via a presidential penalty, which was converted essentially into a shootout via a player, the skipper, taking it. And then when they had another chance via that secret card, they didn't make the most of it. Al-Mutairi on that occasion, on both occasions, in fact. So he's scored one and spurred the other.
That's right. Failing to deliver the goods on the second occasion. Can they deliver the goods now here, though? Here's Omar! What a shot!
Oh, the whistle's gone. How disappointing that will be for Saudi Arabia. I think there was a player offside in the build-up. It's only now just dawning on Omar et al. That the goal won't stand. And it's dawning on Thomas as well.
Yeah, offside, you were immediately saying, Patrick, you immediately saw it, just hear from the referee as well.
In progress.
Bernal, ponla aquí, por favor, mientras revisamos, ¿vale? Si no fuera, iríamos a gol. Vale, Joan, tú me dices, hemos pitado fuera de juego. It's outside. Sí. Goal? It's goal?
In progress.
The goal stands. Well, there you go, Thomas. You were right. The energy from Omar there. Lovely slotted finish into the corner. And all of a sudden, the deficit has been whittled down to 3. They're not quite in striking distance. If they were to be within 2, come 2 minutes remaining, then they would be. But they're making a fist of it now, Saudi Arabia, and that was a really neatly taken goal from Omar. And again, you feel the more they get him on the ball, the closer they get him to the opposition goal, the greater chance they'll have of finally breaking down the Mexicans.
Yeah, these are the moments you need those players like Omar on the ball as we'll try and go straight back up the other end and get another goal. And please for Omar, as I said, it was real disappointment for him against Uzbekistan, a little slip after being one of the star players, allowing Uzbekistan to score that goal. And it's a bit of redemption for him.
Now, Mexico have a corner. They won't panic, they're still very much in the ascendancy here, but there is potential scope for a Saudi comeback, cheered on by their supporters. Mexico take the shot. That's a towering leap there. Very coolly done, almost too coolly done. They've poked it straight into touch. The Mexican press sufficient there to force the mistake. And again, we're noticing from the body language of the set of streamers, the Saudis haven't given too much away, but the Mexican pairing, they have been like an open book.
Yeah.
In terms of what they're feeling, just down the way to our left, Thomas.
The Mexican chicas are now a little bit disappointed. I think that's the correct term. There's a senoritas. I'm not sure. I'll ask our Mexican and Spanish colleagues here to confirm or not. Either way,
it's Omar who goes to press.
Ball, and as we're saying, this is why Bikeye wanted this competition. It never is over when it appears to be over.
Saudi Arabia had won it back high at the pitch. There was a chance there to play in Fares. Instead, they go the other way. Clearly no foul there. Obed Martinez getting his foot on the ball, slowing things down, taking the sting out of the game. It's all about Mexico just keeping their heads here. If they don't do anything silly, they will surely be going through to the last chance salute, and Saudi Arabia will be packing up and going home, and that could have been very costly indeed. And it's just amazing how this game surprises you. As soon as you start to make a slightly risky statement and get ahead of yourself, then invariably the Kings League gods, they see that you're defying them, and they strike you down.
You fell into my trap, Patrick, of talking away as if the match was over. And this is what we're saying, this is what Bikeye and the creators of this league wanted to just keep you glued right to them, because when you think it's over, it never is over. Never, never.
It's not over until Mahmoud sings.
Reminder, Mahmoud will be singing 12th of January. Well, Mexico will be singing here and celebrating
really
another.
Celebrating, but the pass didn't come. There was the chance to cut it back with the keeper out of his goal. I'm amazed that drone is still flying. It's not run out of batteries. It's just been soaring above the...
Majestically, yeah.
Yeah.
The Mexican eagle.
Oh. Confused with a bald eagle. 6-2 winners earlier on against Uzbeks.
Marching on the USA straight to the quarterfinals alongside Argentina. And you mentioned Mahmoud, a reminder he'll be singing on the 12th of January at the final of the Kings World Cup Nations. Will Mexico be there? The many questions we've been asking ourselves. Cisneros, nice ball.
It's a lovely ball. They want to score again here, and they very nearly did. How close they came as well with Baruch Ochoa. And that might have been a decisive goal as we move towards the 34-minute mark. It did not miss by much. To quote you, Thomas, a whisker wide.
Whisker wide indeed. Omar keeps possession and keeps it alive, keeps things ticking over.
Here's Omar pulling into space. Get him on the ball. I want to see him make things happen.
Love the hairstyle as well. How did you find that? A perm? Curly? Love it.
Omar. Fares. They don't have too many outlets beyond the number 10, the Saudi Arabians. That's the problem, really. If you keep Omar quiet, you pin the number 10, then no one else is really capable of necessarily turning on the style.
Very much like USA before, as we see this ball come in, Patrick. Mexico's secret card, seeing the time it's been played, makes me think it could be something like a shootout penalty or a joker, maybe.
Not a double whammy, double goal.
Could be, but they played it a little bit late. As we go into the final almost more than the 38-minute mark, maybe a...
What's it gonna be?
Penalty? Penalty.
Penalty for Mexico.
So, yeah.
Penalty.
Traditional penalty, not a shootout. And the
Dame.
girls from Mexico approve as well. Waving that flag of pride and joy shortly.
They've only just been given that flag as well. I saw one of their assistants dashing over to give them the national standard there. But we are going to see this Saudi penalty, rather the Mexican penalty, and it's your boy, Obed Martinez.
Main man. Big fan.
It's for a hat-trick, I think.
And he'll be a hat-trick hero and following the footsteps of Swadak. He did 4 yesterday. Here he goes. To be a hat-trick hero and take Mexico a step closer. It was never in doubt, Patrick, never in doubt. Arms outstretched, a la Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Obed Martinez makes it 7-3, and that must put the game out of sight now for Saudi Arabia.
It certainly looks that way. We've just got 4 minutes remaining all told. We've got 2 minutes until the final 2 minutes of the 40, when indeed we will see the goals being worth double at the current stage, because one team is ahead. Mexico's 7-3 ahead of the Saudis. It would mean that the Saudis would need to score twice without reply to make it 7-all, and that looks very unlikely. That would force a penalty shootout, unless Saudis can just eat into this deficit now. But a very well-timed secret card, that, especially when you know you've got a penalty to play and you've got Obed Martinez who can step up to convert it.
Yeah, really smart. This is what we're talking about, the strategy side of it as well, Patrick, with the coaches at centre, try and get immediate reaction here. Wonderful heading.
What's that high boost? Obed Martinez, he's given a goalkeeper. The Saudis are asking for penalties, and I'm not surprised why, because one player went and met it with his head, and he got his head to it. Obed Martinez tried the acrobatic clearance, and he ended up catching his opponent in the head. Now, I think this could be a penalty, because it wasn't a clear effort at goal like we saw earlier on, and that's why you see the replay here. I think this warrants, he's kicked him in the midriff, and we're now just getting a view of that on the replay. And suddenly things could change, because if this were a penalty, maybe it might be a yellow card as well for Obed Martinez. Mexico go down to 6 players for a couple of minutes. The Saudis are back to within 3, 7-4, with those goals worth double in the 2 minutes at the end of the match. But it would require some intervention from the VAR, and I don't think we're necessarily going to see it.
Let's wait. In the meantime, the clock has been stopped. Treatment coming on as well. Saudi Arabia number 24. VAR, Patrick.
Well, let's have a listen in.
In progress.
Vale, okay. Perfect. Vale, I decide. Okay.
Check complete.
It is a penalty. And is there a card to follow? The Saudis are asking for a card. The referee shakes his head. It will remain 7v7. So it is a penalty to Saudi Arabia, but there won't be the additional benefit of an extra man for a couple of minutes. They are going to have Omar, though, stepping up from 12 yards to try and score this penalty. The VAR coming in handy there, and good officiating as well. Just saying to the Saudi players not to encroach. Okay, I've got this. I'm in charge. I'll make the decision. And with the benefit of a second look, the referee has done just that. If Omar scores, Thomas, suddenly it's 7-4, and the final 2 minutes of this match become a little bit more pivotal, don't they?
Far more intense. This is a huge, huge moment for Omar. Can he get his second? He does get his second, Patrick, and he does set up this grandstand, this thrilling finale. There, number 10, bouncing back from his first day disappointment against Uzbekistan, and in some style inspiring his nation. Obed Martinez, we thought he was going to be the hero. Bit of a zero at the other end of the pitch a few moments ago.
Indeed, a costly foul from Obed Martinez. Mexico are still very much in charge of this. It would still take something dramatic, and it could end here! That will surely do it. What an absolute ping from Barak Ochoa, who ends any debate as to where this result will end up. It's Mexico on top.
And that is why they are one of the favourites, Patrick. They can produce moments like that just when you think that the opposition is working its way back into that. Mexico step up and produce a moment of magic.
A moment of magic indeed, and we're into the final 2 minutes of the match.
Magic.
Do you believe in magic?
In a young girl's heart.
So,
it's a kind of magic. Let's go with that.
Absolutely, Queen. And yeah, we'll see who of it, not just the Queen, but the Kings of the World Cup.
There's a Queen's League, though. Don't forget.
Well, absolutely.
League,
We will be looking at it. Italy 2025, and the road to Turin, 12th of January, and we're now going to have a look, the final 2 minutes, but Mexico, unless they concede 2, they're in the clear.
Countdown begins then to the final 2 minutes. You expect Mexico now just to see it out, although Saudi Arabia, thanks to Omar, have a little bit of hope as both sides take their place. They have to really get behind the line before the lights come on. Saudi Arabia again, have an experience.
A bit tardy, aren't they? A bit sluggish. Yeah. The sluggish Saudis.
And with it,
well, the Mexicans are moaning, but on we go. Let's go first to the loose ball, then they lose it. And Obed Martinez smashes it, almost taking that cameraman out on there. He's got a big grin on his face, our Italian colleague up there.
Relief more than anything. Didn't go straight. In the meantime, you can vote for the MVP.
Who's your money? I'm going for Obed Martinez.
Oh, you know me.
Despite giving away the penalty.
He's now the top scorer in the competition with 5 goles to his name. Omar, of course, for Saudi Arabia, the candidate.
Here's Fares. And now it is Omar. Trying to impact the game from deep. Saudis keep the ball. They need to score and score quickly, and that will bring them to within 1 goal of forcing a penalty shootout. Fares. Omar might be tempted. He is tempted, and it's wayward from him.
Nearly as poor as me on the 5-a-side pitch on a Friday night. That.
I didn't want to say anything, but it did remind me of that. Exactly. It immediately cropped into my mind.
Rosette, and with that, Saudi hopes are evaporating away. The Saudi side to be spiralling out of the competition. It's a shame for their supporters as well. They've been slowing down. You can see being more and more quiet as the minutes and seconds pass by.
Friday nights, it wasn't Mexicans on that. It was more Peruvians that we used to play against, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Ecuadorians, Hondurans.
Yeah, it was a real international feel in Milan. The British expats as well out in force, trying their very best to put on a show.
Trying, be the operative.
Exactly.
Yeah,
especially when I was
Scottish really struggled in my memory of that.
The old enemy.
Oh, spelled A-U-L-D, please.
Yeah.
Just over a minute to go, plus added time. I think the fact that we're cracking jokes tells you all you need to know, that Mexico are pretty much over the line now. They had to win this. It's always difficult when you need to win to then go out and walk the walk, but Mexico, just like Spain against Italy earlier on, have got the win that they required just to stay in the competition, and they'll go again a couple of days from now when the last chance saloon begins. A reminder, tomorrow is the second day and culmination of round 2. Mexico would love to go into double figures. They would have done with that goal.
Finish with a flurry. Flurry, McFlurry, one of our
sponsors. Finish with a flurry or a flourish.
Yes.
Flurry, I guess, would be multiple goals. It's technically one counts for two. So
yeah,
I'll let you off on that.
Technically right, but yeah, you're right. Should be a flourish. Even failing with my English, which is my mother tongue.
The Mexicans, you know, their performance has really blossomed in the second half. Oh, floral puns. How many minutes of added time, Thomas?
Just the 2 have been given. First minute is almost up. Now Saudi Arabia just won that full-time whistle to come. Mexico will just enjoy and savour these final minutes, lap it up, and then there will be a celebration fiesta time.
And we'll, of course, recap everything we've seen on this very busy day of action in the Kings League. Day 3, lest we forget, we've got day 4 coming tomorrow. Then we'll take a bit of a breather, allow you to catch your breaths on Saturday. We need to do likewise. And then we're back on
the 6th.
The 6th, yeah, indeed. I say take a breather on Sunday. I'm getting ahead of myself for tomorrow's Saturday. Here go the Saudis. It won't reach them. Obed Martinez is there. Played it straight into touch. Saudis running out of time. They need to score twice and quickly. Can they even get one? They can't. Obed Martinez clearing away from Omar, and indeed, Obed Martinez, the overwhelming winner here. In terms of you guys voting on Twitch, as to our MVP, the most valuable player. He has shimmered like silver, Obed Martinez.
He's the Capo Canoniere so far in this competition. I don't know what it was in Spanish. Is it Pichichi? I can't remember.
Pichichi in Spain, but yeah.
Spain, I'm not sure. Mexico.
The Mexican streamers celebrate. They lead the celebration as well. They might, because Obed Martinez et al. Were by far and away the dominant force in this 4th match on day 3 at the Kings World Cup Nations.